Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas, and today's surfboard review is on the Modern 2 by SharpEye surfboards. Now I have two exact same stock 5.4. These were sent down by Surftech because it's a collaboration between SharpEye surfboards and Surftech with a new construction called Fusion E2. Now this review, we're going to go over the board, the design, how it felt, and we're also going to talk about this new construction, so sit back and enjoy the show. So a couple things as we dive into the attributes of this board. Look, it's 5.4. This board design was kind of like a spin back from the late 80s, kind of twin fin from here forward from what it looks like for me. So it's got wide point front from center, a lot of volume up here, low entry rocker, so the board's super fast and it paddles good. But as we get into the back half of this board, it's got the wing and then reduced surface area in the tail here and then a swallowtail. And this board is probably the most performance twin fin type setup that I've ridden to date. So I really like the board. It's super fast. It's really fun and playful, but it also has the traction I'm looking for. Because sometimes twin fins, or even with a small trailer here, have that tendency to want to slide out. But this board had great traction and incredible drive. But let's talk about a little bit about this volume comes in at 27.8. And if you guys know my small wave boards, I'm usually going like grovelers are 5.2 and 5.4. Well, this one at 5.4 at 27.8 liters, it's got incredible amount of foam throughout, but it didn't feel like all the foam up here. Sometimes on a board, a small wave board like that can kind of dictate the way the board turns. And the best way I can describe it is at times I feel like the board wants to teeter like back and forth, left and right, instead of rolling rail to rail. And what I liked about this board, even though it's 27.8 liters, I felt like I had an incredible amount of foam for paddling and speed down the line, but I felt like it was rolling rail to rail the entire time, and I really like that. Now I mentioned rocker, so as I pick it up and you see it, it's relatively flat, right? Low entry rocker, which we know is going to give us great drive down the line, and that's what this board wants to do. It wants to project, and I love that about it. And you can see there's a ton of volume up here. It's not even hidden. When you put it in your hands, you can see there's a good amount of bulk of foam in here to give you that paddling and make this board go good in small mushy waves. So as we move into the midsection, looking at the rocker, it's a staged or relatively flat rocker, and that's what's going to give us that projection and down the line speed. And the rail is, what I like about this rail is it's round, it's full, and it's soft. And what I mean by soft is it's very forgiving. Now as we move into the tail end, I mentioned that the rail's real soft and the board's forgiving. The rail starts to get a little bit sharper as we get in right back here, and then we hit this wing. And we know that the wing is a break in the rail line, and that will act as a pivot point, number one. It will also give us some traction on the face of the wave, a little bit of bite, and it's also going to reduce surface area right here. And reducing that surface area is going to make the board be able to do a little bit tighter turns in the pocket. And that, that's one of the things that I really liked about this board is I'm starting to ride a little bit more twin fins. I'm by no means a twin fin expert, but I can tell you that I know performance when I feel it. And this board had the bite I was looking for and the traction off the bottom and in the pocket, and it felt different than all the other type of twin fin shape boards that I've been riding. So it's funny, as I look down at the board here, it's so thinned out that it kind of looks like a performance board for me. And then as I look towards the front, it looks like kind of like that fish gravel type board. So with it being that thinned out, I'm really getting that sensitivity that I'm looking for from this board, on top of the traction that I'm getting it from it being a swallowtail and a medium exit rocker. And that's why it feels like a performance board under my feet. So we have our straight edge. Let's check out the bottom contours of this board. As you can see, I'm not sliding it back and forth. It's teetering back and forth because it's got a V or a convex bottom. And as I get further down the board here, you can see it's getting more and more aggressive. Look how aggressive that V is right there. Now, the V is going to give us control, and it's also going to make it transition from rail to rail smoothly. Look how aggressive that is. Now, right here is where Marcio put in a double concave, and that'll loosen up the board. And there's so much of it here, that'll also give me traction on the rails. And you can see to V out the tail, that's really aggressive. And this board felt really smooth in transition from rail to rail. So now I want to talk about this Fusion E2 construction by Surftech. They're starting with an EPS stringerless foam core, which stands for expanded polystyrene. Now, because it doesn't have a wood stringer, they're using this woven carbon fiber on the bottom here to control and manipulate flex and give the board the strength as if it was a wood stringer. Now, as we look at the deck, we've got this carbon strip that goes down the middle, and it's unique, and it's exclusive to Surftech. And what makes it unique is that the carbon on the left and on the right, there's a 2mm gap that goes down the middle, and that gap is just the EPS foam. Now, what's so special about that? Well, with that, having that gap there, they're using that as a dampener to reduce vibration or chatter. And one of the nuances of EPS boards is that they have that vibration or chatter, and everybody's trying to get that tone down and get this board to feel a little bit more like a PU. What I like about these EPS foam cores is they're very lively, or they have a lot of spring under my feet. So it feels like I'm getting that spring in and out of turns, which I want in smaller waves. Now for me, I don't even really care to ride a PU in small waves anymore because I feel like I have to work way harder. So they're getting this to reduce that chatter, and the waves that I surfed, I didn't really feel any chatter at all. Now, would I feel more chatter if I was riding in bigger waves? Probably, but it's a small wave board, and that's when I'm riding a board like this. Now I want to talk about the fins I chose. Now, when I started the review, I started it with the Philippe Toledo large fins on the side and the medium Philippe Toledo fin in the middle. I want maximum drive with the side fins, and I want the board to pivot quick with the smaller center fin. Now, I also did it on purpose that whenever you see me wearing the black wetsuit, that's me riding this board as a thruster. And the board had a lot of drive, and it felt really good down the line, but at times it felt like when I was coming off the bottom, it would get a little sticky. And what I mean by that is that the transition from a bottom turn to going up into the top turn, it just wasn't smooth. So I liked the drive, the board still felt good, but there was some different parts when I was surfing that I didn't like about it as a thruster. So as I transitioned to ride this board as a twin fin, I used the MR twin fin with a small trailer. And I'm just to be 100% honest with you guys, this board just lit up. This thing had incredible drive from these huge base fins. And then with this little fin back here, it kept the pivot real nice. And like I said, it just had so much drive. It made the board so much fun. It's really playful. And you know what's really cool is one day I was out there and we weren't shooting. I'm so bummed we weren't shooting. But Philippe Toledo was out, and I was talking to him about the Modern 2, and he said that he had his 5.6 on the beach because it was relatively small. And I was like, "You're riding a 5.6? He goes, "Yeah, what are you riding?" I'm like, "I'm riding the 5.4. Here I am, 170 pounds. He's like 140, 143 or whatever. And he goes and he gets it, and he just is destroying the waves. And I'm thinking, how is it that he can make even that board look really good under his feet and pushing that hard being so light? Then he asked me if I wanted to try it, and I rode the 5.6. And that was another thing that caught me by surprise. Here's a board that's roughly over 29 liters. It's almost 30 liters. And it still didn't feel like it was teetering from rail to rail. The board had great flow. He had the MRs with the bright colors, and the board felt great. So I really like this board as a twin fin. I can see why Marcio shaped it and calls it the Modern 2. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's review. Look, the Modern 2 by SharpEye Surfboards is legit. Probably the funnest little twin fin setup I've ridden to date. So hats off to Marcio and Surftech, because this construction, it's not bulletproof, but it's got great flex, and I think they're doing some pretty innovative stuff. So hey, look, if you like the show, subscribe. You can also find us at surfandshow.com. That's it for today. See you in the water. Bye-bye.
surrender. This could be the battle of your life. As that staring fade away, faithful. This could be the battle of feel happy now, faithful as it's still away, with your arms wide open to the world.